Hello, found footage fans, and welcome to We Found a Tape. Join us as we hit play and uncover what lies beyond the tape. Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of We Found a Tape. Today we have another one of our blind watch specials from Found TV, and today we're going to be talking about The Last Radio Call from 2022.
Was it the last radio call?
I guess in terms of the film, there's a few different radio calls that do ultimately happen, but it wasn't quite the last. But I guess the last that you would hear of David, which is the man in the movie that we're going to be talking about.
Is it just me, or is it awkward every time that you talk about a character that has the same name as yours? When you hear
It's not awkward. It can be a little confusing, especially when if I'm talking about someone whose name is David, then you'll be like, "Wait, what?"
Maybe it's
zone out.
Maybe it's a David thing. Maybe it's a territorial thing, because I always feel like there's one too many Davids here. Somebody else's name is David, but it's all right. We'll push through.
That's really that's what happens when you have biblical names like David and John and all that. So we're both in the same boat.
Fair enough.
Right. If you don't know about as well our Found TV blind watch specials, we basically spin a wheel and we decide which movie we're going to talk about. So we had a bunch of different movies that we put into a wheel, and for a change, one of my movies actually won. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely not one of mine. So it's going to be a interesting one today. So
absolutely. Yeah, last radio call, and I was saying to David just before we started recording this here that we have done quite a number of movies by the filmmaker that has made this film. His name is Isaac Rodriguez. He has done a ton of different films: Mr. Creep, Visher, Deadware, A Town Full of Ghosts, Last Radio Call, and among others. He's very highly stylized in terms of the found footage genre. He's moved more into an AI route lately, which I'm not super into, I'll be honest. Just in terms of the stuff that he's working on and the stuff that he's posting on social media. Yeah, we love I love his films. I think they're very highly stylized. He sticks very much to the tropes of found footage, and he seems to know a lot about it. And he's a native Texan for you, David.
Yeah, he's a native Texan. Go Texas.
Go Texas. But yeah.
Before we dive deep any further, let's hit him with that old synopsis.
For sure. The Last Radio Call from 2022. While searching for answers about her husband's disappearance, details about the Red Sister and sinister occult activity send Sarah and a film crew into a nightmare inside an abandoned hospital.
The Red Sister.
The Red Sister. Hell yeah. This has a lot of native influence. There's a number of characters that are involved in it, and the sort of legend behind the Red Sister. I didn't necessarily look up that in terms of folklore or urban legends. I don't know the legitimacy of the Red Sister in terms of folklore and story, but in terms of what was there, it was super creepy and super well done, and it kicks off right at the very start, and I'd always appreciate that when it comes to especially found footage. We're always waiting for something to happen. This one starts off just balls to the wall.
Yeah, this one is like ready to go right at the beginning, so let's take a look at it.
Absolutely. But yeah, it basically follows, at least at the start, it follows David and Giles, who are two police officers who are sent to a call at an abandoned hospital, in which they it starts with their body cam footage, and it sort of switches between the two to show you their point of view as they search through this hospital. There's a lot of weird stuff happening. They find stuff. At one point, there's like a head on the floor, which was pretty gnarly.
How scary is that to walk in and just find a head on the ground, man?
Yeah, that'd be pretty nuts, especially if you're a cop and you're sent there and you've got no backup, and you just like go in like, and then there's a head on the ground.
I know that you're trained like to experience a lot of things, and as far as being a cop for more than a year, I'm sure you've seen a fair amount of things, but I don't think anything can, unless you're numb to the job already. I would think that like having a like still like no soul towards it, like you've seen it so many times, it's just part of the job. But
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just a weird thing to see.
totally. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think especially if you're a rookie, that would be traumatizing. But if you're galvanized to it, right? If you've seen once you've seen one, headless body or head on the ground, I guess. And I mean, I'm not saying about like PTSD isn't a real thing or anything, but it definitely galvanizes you, and it's at that point there's a fork in the road of either you continue or you find another career path, because that line of work, same with firefighters, paramedics, like their job is to go into these horrific situations and figure out what's happened and treat people, whether that is arresting people for some sort of disturbance or whatnot, or saving people's lives. Ultimately is the primary goal of all of them. I know, like for me personally, my grandpa, he was a fireman, so I had a few different stories. For him, mostly it was fires that were that he told me about. But there was one time where he let me know that he had to cut there was a car crash that he responded to the scene for, and they had to use the jaws of life, and they were basically just cutting open the car to get the bodies out, because they died on impact. So
That's crazy. I've got a cop story too. So I've got a buddy that is so maybe this was like maybe in my early 30s. He had been a cop for a couple of years already, and he had this habit of occasionally he would go on drug busts and things like that. He would send me pictures of like crime scenes where they got the like the haul, so it's like all the drugs and the money all stacked up nice on the table. And one time he sent me this picture of, it looked like a portable trailer type office, right? It looked like a setting like that, and you can see that they put all the drugs and the money on the desk right there to kind of like get the tally of everything. And he circles and he goes, "You see that ball in the corner?" He goes, "That's a human head." He sends me a message after he sent me the thing. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh my god!
Yeah, just casually like that. He just sent me a picture with a decapitated head in the corner, and it was at an angle to where you couldn't see the neck side to where it was actually cut off. It was more like the top side of the head, so I couldn't see it fully. But still, I wouldn't want to see it fully. It's cool.
No.
But yeah, fun little story there.
Wild, man. Yeah. And I feel like there's a few. I don't really know too many people that are in that line of work, but
Right.
I've met a couple that are in that line of work, and they. I mean, it's probably rewarding, especially when you're saving people's lives. But when you have to deal with dead folk, it's probably.
And it's just like any job that there's an upside and a downside to things. Yes, serve and protect, but at the same time, dealing with the gory underside of it, and also having to tell families that a loved one's dead, and things of that nature. So I mean, everything comes with its good and bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that never gets easy.
Oh no, I wouldn't be able, so I'd never be a doctor or anything like that to give a family member bad news that somebody's died, because you never know how somebody's going to react.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we're not doctors, David.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Otherwise, we're doing open heart surgery right now.
Oh yeah,
saving baby.
But yeah, I mean, this it starts. It's done really well. It's highly stylized in the body cam footage, and from there it sort of takes a shift where once the The opening scene and opening credits have sort of gone through. That's where it makes a tone shift, and it moves into more of a mockumentary style or documentary style, where there's text on the screen and it sort of works as the narrator for throughout the film, where it fills in all the information. But ultimately, we find out that the footage that we've seen has been leaked. It was leaked online. And Sarah is now in the process of, or she has hired a film crew to come with her and ultimately to try and find answers in terms of what's happened to David. She wants them to come with her, and she's going to meet a bunch of people, and she wants them to basically document it so that they can piece together what's happened to him. Ultimately, the camera cuts, like after the sort of final stages of the body cam, it just sort of cuts, like we don't really see anything what happens. And it's explained ultimately that that's the only piece that was recovered or was leaked ultimately, so that and now we know that Sarah is now just looking to get answers or find her husband, I guess. Like, he's not considered dead at that point. So,
and this place is an abandoned asylum or sanitarium. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's like a hospital. It's what's it called? Yorkdale or something?
Yorkdale. Wait.
Yorktown Memorial Hospital is where they are. I'm not sure, is Yorktown a place in Texas, David?
Oh, that is a great question. We have so many little towns and cities that some sound familiar and some don't.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
But I feel like we have a York something here in Texas. Might be out West Texas, since he's from El Paso.
Right. Makes sense. But yeah, it kind of starts off highly stylized in that mockumentary. After the opening parts, we're starting to see and piece a bit more together about Sarah and her intent of this documentary that she's making, really to get answers. That is where we start to meet people that were somehow involved. So we start to meet people like the supervisor. We meet her, David's partner, who was at the scene, who was traumatized following the incident and has, some sort of memory loss. So she's not really able to provide much in terms of details. But we also meet there's like a lady who was in the area. She like lived nearby, I guess. And she had taken some like footage, some video footage of the hospital with some weird shit happening and like,
she was walking by it or something like that. Right?
Yeah,
she was walking
by. She like woke up, and I think the whole thing is that this is all surrounding in like the witching hour, which is at 3 a.m. That is sort of the main theme throughout, is all the crazy stuff happens at 3 a.m. at the hospital. So that a lot of patterns ultimately tie and weave in throughout the film regarding that particular time, which is extra spooky because that's really late.
Yeah, it's like the dead of night. Pretty much, you wake up, nobody in their right mind is awake at that hour. But if you're a believer in paranormal and superstitions and things like that, like I am, a walk at 3 o'clock in the morning to the bathroom, knowing that hour exists and what happens during that hour, is a scary little stroll to the restroom.
Yeah, most definitely.
And then all the lights off are in the house too and shit. That's even worse.
Oh yeah, that's some scary shit right there. One point that I found quite funny in this, and there's not a whole lot that is really that funny, to be honest. But one point is so short after they've started, interviewing people, they've met with some people. They have this great idea, especially after she's been drinking, to go and visit the hospital, and immediately, like as soon as she gets there and tries to look over, she gets arrested and fined $2,000 for criminal trespassing.
Jeez. Yeah, and that's the thing about like criminal trespassing is like you go into an unknown place that you've never been to, and boom, right then and there, the cops are waiting for you. They already know this is a
Oh
hot
yeah,
spot for people to come and mess about.
yeah, and it was it was like almost as soon as she got out of the car and walked up, she like tried to like look over the fence or whatever, and like fucking immediately flashing lights, sirens, and like, oh shit, and then she like tries to run.
How scary would that have been if she looked over the fence like that and the cop was right there on the other side, grabbed her by her shoulders and just yanked her over the fence?
That would be creepy, man.
That scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like that to me I thought was really funny. Like, of course that would happen. As soon as you're like, all right, I'm gonna go there and take a look. Fucking criminal trespassing.
Can't get
And then she's drinking more.
can't get the cops to show up to a murder or crime scene on time, but they're there on time for
100%.
trespass.
Yeah. I don't know if it may have been security. I don't think we fully saw, like, you didn't see her getting arrested or whatever. It may have just been security and they wrote her like a citation or some shit. But yeah, totally. She got some fucking fine, which is, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too. Shit.
Yeah.
I got $2,000.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean that's such a steep thing. I mean, it's how do you well, I guess she wasn't like inside. If she was inside and she got caught, fair enough, criminal trespassing. But like right there, I mean, she is a bit of a, as we sort of find out throughout, she's got an alcohol problem, because of the fact, obviously, that what's happened to her husband. Like, I completely understand and empathize with that. So who knows if she's gotten like into other bother, or she's been like speaking to people, especially because the police are involved, in terms of, because it's her husband and she's clearly wanting answers, and she's probably barked up a few wrong trees, and gotten into some other bother, most likely. So
Barked up a few wrong trees.
yeah.
I don't know why that was funny, but it was.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where we find that the video, the person comes forward with that video, and it's like a weird like scream growl
Yes.
that happens, and like it just sort of triggers her into being like, okay, David's still alive, or David's still like, something is still
there.
Yeah. So that kind of like reinvigorates her, because they stop after she gets fined. Like, she's just like, all right, fine, I'm over it. And then it's then that she starts to kick back into motion when she finds that. But yeah, there's a lot of stop starting when it comes to this whole investigation. Like, no one really seems to like take charge. It seems to be like Sarah will like stop, and then like the filmmakers will be like, okay, because she's hired them, right? So they're being paid to do a job. So who knows? Like, if that was me, I'd be like, listen, I want to finish this project. If you like, I know you're hurting, but I want to just get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you paid the money to do it, and then you obviously care about the person. They're your husband. I mean, to get that easily like discouraged about it, I'd still be on a mission if I was, that far into it with hiring a film crew to go in and go figure out what happened.
Yeah, but I guess like it's a lot, especially for someone who has a drinking problem at this point, and she's clearly grieving and angry and sad. That's a lot to take on, especially if you're trying to do an investigation. So if you just have someone and you're just there as the vocal piece and the voice piece for speaking to people, and then let the professionals do their job, I get it. But yeah, it just seems to be like she's kind of to and fro in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which kind of not bugged me, but I was just kind of like, come on. And you don't really find out the time that passes. At least that I didn't notice anyway. You don't really see the time that passes between all these things. I know that when the body cam, I think it's about a year after, and when they start doing the investigation, I feel like they do at some points. They do tell you, and sometimes they don't, which is fair.
And that's cool. I mean, it's nice to be immersed in the movie versus, you know, knowing a timeline. Just another bit of information that's going to keep you more into the actual what's going on versus, you know, how much time do we got left?
Right. And then following that, you know, after she starts to get back into it, things definitely take a weirder turn, and this is kind of where we start to find out that there's more of an occult thing happening. When they were at the hospital and she got the criminal trespassing charge, there was like a weird symbol that appeared on the wall that they sort of gloss over real quick, didn't really pay much attention to. But it's like an eye, like a U with like an eye, and like, you know, all that. And they noticed that after the fact, but they ultimately get called to Giles, who is David's partner, who was at the scene when he went missing, and he calls up her, and during their first sort of interaction in the film, he like points a gun at her. So she's like, the first thing she says when they're driving there, she's just like, I don't really know how I feel about this, because the last time, you know, he pointed a gun at me. And when you listen to the phone call, it's very monotone and very it's almost like he's possessed. It's something I noticed when he calls her to be like, oh yeah, I've got some new information, come and see me. I find that to be quite odd.
Yeah, you know, their first interaction wasn't the greatest, but for him to kind of just come out of left field with, suddenly I've got, you know, some information, but he's not quite himself.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And when they go there, and like the first thing she does is barge in. She like barges right in. She doesn't knock. She just fucking cuts right in, and immediately he's sitting there and he's shot himself, or it appears he's shot himself. Bit of poor CGI on my is my thought, but yeah, he's sitting there with like the radio, the walkie-talkie in his hand, and then his like brains are splattered across the wall behind him. But it's like right next to the door, and I mean, if he shot himself and the door was open, why have the cops not come through? Like that's wild.
Yeah, usually somebody calls that in and the cops show up, and you know, you hear gunshots in the neighborhood, people are concerned and scared.
Right, yeah.
Hiding under tables and shit, so.
Totally. And then one thing that we come across is that when she walks past, there's like a kind of hard cut when she walks past the film crew camera who are like filming the guy who's dead. And we, for a split second, I don't know if you noticed it, but you see the symbol like painted on the wall.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
just shortly, and then it goes back to like the splatter, and they're able to get like this footage that was, I think it was like a box of tapes, and they like she takes it to go and look into, but he like awakens, like he's not dead, and he's like rolling his eyes about, and he's kind of like and then the walkie-talkie starts going off, and there's all the static and stuff. It's creepy.
It's creepy, but it's very confusing.
Yeah, it is. It kind of, because we don't really know that this is what the supernatural element is at this point.
Right.
We don't know much about it. It's shortly after this is when we really start to figure that out, but we're starting to piece together and slowly but surely figure out that David and Giles actually stumbled onto something very, very bad, and they ultimately paid the price for it, just by being there. Ultimately, is what happened to them. But yeah, when they find the footage, when they're at Giles's place, that's when they're able to find a call from. I'm pretty sure it's David, it's head like a body cam of something that he had responded to a few weeks prior. So potentially, based on what we've just been talking about, could be the fact it could be related. Like they could have been called there, specifically. But on the tape, we find out that David is called to a domestic disturbance at a residence, and he finds that there's a man who is like in a mask, and he's got it's like a machete, or like a scythe or something like that. But he like comes at him and he fucking shoots him, and he falls out into the back garden, and he's dead, laying there on the ground, fucking shot to fuck. And while he's in the back garden looking around, that's when he comes across there's a woman tied up in the back garden, with her hands like above her head, with all these like witchy runes and symbols and bones and skulls and things like that. And she has the mark, I don't know if it's carved or just painted in blood on her back, the same symbol that we've been seeing throughout the film.
Right.
Be eye. Oh man.
That's one of those cop calls that you didn't know what you were walking into, and you wish you had.
Totally, man. And it's creepy. It's especially knowing what we know up until that point, the fact that they're now starting to deal with occult stuff, and it all and the fact that the building itself had the logo. You're like, oh shit, maybe they were brought there on purpose. Rather than like a regular police call, they were brought to the hospital on purpose, and that's kind of where we start to go down this mystery, which is it takes a very dark and sinister turn.
Yeah, dark and sinister is like saying that lightly. It gets really dark.
Yeah. And following that, after she's watched the video, my memory of it escapes me as to how she ultimately found the brother. But I think she did like a lookup. She did like some research online to figure out the actual incident that that David was called to, where he found the woman in the back garden with the symbol on her. I think she like finds out who the guy is and looks him up to try and figure out like any family, and she comes across his brother. It's like a twin brother.
Yeah, it's like a twin brother. Yeah, and he's telling them about about what the symbol means.
Yes, and that's where we start to find out about the Red Sister, right. And the fact that she's an entity that craves human blood in Native American culture. That he agrees to speak with her. She has to go to a specific meeting place, and that's where we start to find out more. What was really cool though is that he gives her a VHS tape, and it's kind of like a Unsolved Mysteries style tape, where it's supposed to basically speak about the
Red Sister,
and kind of something that you would maybe show to like children or like in school or something,
like one of those documentaries.
Yeah, like stuff you would put on like in like primary school or something, as part of history or something like that, which I thought was really a nice little touch. I thought that was cool.
Or if you're my teacher, you put on Grease all the time. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate that fucking movie. I don't know how that did in grade school, because I had that teacher multiple times. Every time it was a slow day. Oh, let's watch a movie. Okay, we're watching Grease. If we're watching a movie, it's like, fuck me.
Yeah, man. I feel like one of the movies that my history teacher would put on, especially for us in the class, was Braveheart.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. No, we saw that quite a bit.
Would there be any other movie for you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there any other Scottish movies he could have put on at the time?
I don't know, but it was a double VHS tape.
Yeah. That movie was long. It's like Gangs in New York. It's so long. There's 2 tapes.
Yeah, that Titanic is long. It's a double tape. So, but yeah, like that's kind of the vibe it gave, and typical, which I've now come to realize is sort of typical trope of, I guess, Isaac Rodriguez and his storytelling, is that when they're watching the tape, it's quite informative. It tells you like a bit about the Red Sister, and it's really creepy in the way in which it's described, and then it's about to tell you how to destroy it or how to get rid of it, and then the tape like cuts, and it cuts to like, you know, a woman who's in like in a room and like sort of looking down and disheveled, and then sort of looks up, and then the tape, like the whole thing goes static and crackling and interference, and then the tape pops out, and I'm like, oh man, that's wild.
She knows, the red sister knows.
Yeah, the Red Sister knows that someone's looking for her. So yeah, and following that, that's when Benny is the guy's name. Benny, the brother. He is like a shaman, and he decides to do like a shaman ritual. And it's one of those intense ones, and she's given like coordinates to go to instead of like I think it's coordinates, or it's some address, I guess, that's redacted in order to remain secretive.
Yeah, keep it anonymous.
Yeah, and it's pretty fucked. It's pretty intense. It's a really intense sort of ritual scene. There's a lot of creepy stuff that happens. You know, his eyes go white, and he's, you know, staring off into the distance, and there's some stuff coming out of him. There's like this. It's almost like a white finger or like a fingernail that's sort of poking out, which I kind of assumed was the Red Sister, you know, making her presence known.
She was inside of him the whole time.
Yeah. She was inside of him the whole time.
This movie is wild, man, because it kind of shifted, and now it's over to some kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it a demon, paranormal entity, whatever, but it's like a blood-hungry thing.
Yeah, it's creepy. That's when it really starts to take that shift, and here is when we notice a huge change in Sarah. She after that, she's clearly disturbed, and she starts obsessing over the radio. She's convinced that she's heard. She like hears David at one point on the radio, and she like becomes obsessed with it, and again stops the making of the film until she finally, you know, hears something, and she records it, and she brings the camera crew back in to get involved, which again, like I said, I'd be pissed off if it was me. Fucking, she's fanning about.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of when we when she determines that she's going to go back to the place. It's going to be the witching hour. She's going to go for 3 a.m. and really that's when stuff starts to really pick up in terms of that final act when they're in there and things really are amped up to 11.
It's always what
was that?
It's always the final night.
Oh yeah, it's always the final. It's the final countdown. But yeah, they get there early, and she mentions like it was like 2:55 or something like that, and at one point they like they're like wandering about the hospital, and you know they're hearing things creak and bump and stuff like that. They kind of split up a little bit, and they realize that it's not turned 3 a.m. yet. There's like a alarm, there's like a clock tower or like a bell that rings when it hits 3 a.m. or whatever, and that doesn't happen. And she's like, oh, it's still 2:55. Like, we've been here for like an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I know that feeling where it's only been 5 minutes, or and it feels like an hour. But this one, it shows more that the Red Sister is interfering with them and really starting to mess with them.
Yeah, definitely.
And it really materializes when they start wandering about, and they go into a room in the hospital where they find all these like old like audio tapes, and the one that really stands out is when they look down and they see one with Sarah's name on it, and that's when she finds out that she's got like or it's like a recording of her and someone's talking to her, and she's being told that she was never married to David and that she made the whole thing up, and like she was basically being gaslit by this entity, which I mean is typical when it comes to paranormal stuff. They're full of shit. They're trying to like rage bait you into like getting all crazy so that they can possess you and shit.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Definitely. The this is just getting like weirder and weirder as we progress through, as far as what's happening. This tape where she's hearing the conversation, just very unsettling at this point.
Yeah, it's creepy, and that voice is fucking creepy too. It's like, ah.
Yeah, exactly.
But oh, I thought I was gonna sneeze there. Whew. Yeah, they while they're in there and they're looking about, a lot of stuff really happens. Like, she finally like comes across David. He like materializes somehow, and there was a part where when they met with Benny, and she was asking like, "Is my husband still alive?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's much worse than that," and insinuating that that when the Red Sister has someone that she like really wants to keep a hold on to, she'll basically keep them alive and just feast on them, basically. And it appears that's what's happened to David, but he materializes in like the chapel area where the body cam footage like stopped at the start of the movie. And he's in like a little confessional, and he's like, it's crazy.
It's weird. It's almost like the Red Sister is like a vampire or a succubus.
Yeah, it's weird. It's quite intense. Like when we finally do get to meet the Red Sister, there's a lot less red, maybe because it's in night vision. Maybe the red is to symbolize the blood. But yeah, the when we finally meet the Red Sister, she's wearing like a kind of like a towel thing around her bottom part with this big giant sort of mouth, and the growl that sort of follows through when they're there is just quite nerve-wracking.
I don't know. To me, man, personally, after that whole shaman thing, I would have checked out. I would have been like, David, you're on your own.
Yeah, it really does. It feels that question, like when you get to that point and you realize that you're in too deep, do you keep going or do you get out? And I think you would think the common reaction would be to get the fuck out, but like for most people, I feel like they would be like, I've come this far. Like when you think of the journey, like the journey is this, and then the answers is this. Like that's
right.
How close you are to finding the truth. But as we know, in terms of any sort of urban legend or alien encounters, like when you, especially in film, in true story, you never really know what's true. But in terms of movies, when everyone gets to that truth point, it's usually they wish they fucking didn't.
Yeah.
Like once you see something, you can't unsee it, and once you're involved in something like that, you can't
get out of it.
You can't get out of it, right? So, yeah, they. I guess you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It will put you in that mindset of like, well, what if I did? What if I went through with it, and what if I saved them, or what if I did that? But in reality, that's not what's gonna happen.
Right.
especially not to Sarah in this case.
Yeah, definitely no saving in this one.
Yeah, and it ultimately, that part, it definitely gets very intense. That leans a lot into the grave encounters, influence. There's a lot of night vision and a lot of like the creature itself sort of resembled that with like the sort of CGI face and mouth and stuff like that. Kind of was given huge grave encounters vibes, which I dig that. I do. And it's just, for me, the ending, it kind of, especially as it sort of progresses, I think it kind of falls a little flat. Because ultimately what happens here is, Sarah also goes missing, and then the camera crew, like the guy escapes from the camera crew, like they get out of there. But they return during the day, and they like film during the day and show off the abandoned hospital. And then they get another video from the woman who put the Scream video that she shared with them. There was another video of I'm pretty sure it's Sarah's like silhouette like in the window of
the hospital,
yeah, or in the doorway or something like that. Some creepy ass shit. And then we finally see the footage, the footage of David, like his last
radio call.
Yeah, his last radio call.
His last radio call. That's where the last radio call comes into play.
Yeah. So yeah, for that, it just kind of like it would. I almost wish that like it just kind of ended when after she disappeared and was just kind of like Sarah disappeared and was never found again. Type thing. Like I almost feel like the mystique of not knowing what happened in that final lot of footage is really brought down a little bit.
Right. Or if not, at least put that footage like earlier in the film versus at the end.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of to put that, to tie it all in a nice little loop. And I understand. I totally get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it kind of puts them in this weird loop. Ties it up. Overall though, I will say there's definitely a lot of points that I do like in this. I think I appreciated the backstory of the Red Sister and pointing into that native lore. I think that's really really cool to see, and some creepy stuff was done throughout the film. The main actress that plays Sarah though, like she kind of has a bit of a tendency to overact, I guess.
A little bit.
This one in particular was one where it was kind of a bit over the top, and it was kind of one of those things. I think Deadware, there was some elements of that, but I think you kind of got away with it. But with this one, I think because she's the main focus and the erratic nature in which she kind of does it, it's kind of a bit over the top, and it kind of, you're like, God, I know you're grieving, but goddamn, calm down.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a drama queen.
Yeah, and I kind of got a bit confused at certain points. I think sometimes, and like I said, like the time frame sort of jumping and the way that things were cut together with, and then she stopped, and then we started again, and we stopped. Just kind of takes you in and out of the whole thing. I understand the to move the story along, and I mean it's not that long of a film; it's an hour 15-ish.
Yeah,
is the overall runtime of this, I think just in terms of her character and just the timeline and sort of the story of it, really, to me, I wasn't a massive fan of. There's definitely some creepy parts for sure. I'll give it that.
Yeah, the whole native thing, and sorry, 1 second. Yeah, the whole native story and what happens at the shaman ritual and things like that. There's a lot of creepy aspects. The Red Sister, although it was CGI, the whole mouth thing was a bit creepy too.
Yeah, it was, and that the actual hospital itself was super creepy looking. So like that's definitely, if you're able to get places like that from a set perspective, I mean that's awesome. That's really good, and it really helps to immerse it into that reality for sure. And yeah. So
what do you think? What you rate it?
Yeah, rating wise, it's not my favorite Isaac Rodriguez movie. I think still for me is Mr. Creep. I think that still to me is his better work. That is one of the scariest found footages I'd seen for quite some time. Was when I first watched that. There was really very well timed jump scares.
Yeah.
And it was just really intense and sort of horrifying. This for me was just a kind of grave encounters, native grave encounters, I guess. Is what I would think of it. Overall, though, I think it's definitely worth a watch. I think if you're a fan of his work, if you're a fan of found footage, I think it's definitely worth a watch. I think I'd probably give it 2 tapes.
That's fair. I would agree with you at 2 tapes. That was already mentally in my head. That's what the score that I was going to give it. Like you said, not the best. I think Mr. Creep is higher up there. The CGI thing, although it was kind of creepy, I don't think it needed to be in there. We could have just done something a little bit different. I did enjoy the shaman ritual, as I've mentioned, things like that. But I don't know. The ending did fall very flat for me too. So it's definitely not one of my favorite ones. But yeah, 2 tapes.
Yeah, I do think, especially a lot of his work is it's very stylized, and I appreciate it. I think he's done some great work for found footage. It feels like it's kind of, especially with Vischer. Vischer was more of like a hybrid where there was more cinematic elements of it.
Right.
So,
and that one was pretty decent as well. I mean, that one was better than this one. But yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of found footage movies. He's been around for a good minute, and I just hope he keeps pumping out more. It just seems like he tries to change it up a bit with every movie that comes out. So you can only improve from here and come up with better stories. So
true, yeah. And one huge point that I will say is, especially that opening part. Like I said, that when you start off with action in terms of a found footage movie, because it's always difficult to get an engagement when it comes to found footage, because everyone wants something to happen,
right.
And when it starts off like that, like it sets the bar pretty high for the pacing of the film. And I think when it makes that switch from the body cam to the mockumentary style, and like with Sarah is the main character of that, and leading all of that, I think when that is overacted in this place, it you kind of get a bit of annoyed with the character, and you want to have empathy, you want to like her, you want to sympathize that she's what she's going through, but it gets difficult. It's kind of really the main reason why I rated it the way I did. Would I watch it again? Is really the main thing. Yeah, I think I'd probably watch it again for sure.
Yeah. Although it doesn't get a high score, and it's not completely a low score. It's kind of like in the median or the middle. The story was, the shaman ritual, and the obsession getting there, and getting discouraged really shows somebody that's struggling not only with mental health issues because of a missing loved one, but the struggle in the process. So I mean, there is a good story there, overall.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely elements, glimpses of it. I think just some finessing and sort of tightening up things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've got a real banger there. That was Last Radio Call from 2022 by Isaac Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. As we mentioned at the start, this was our Found TV Blind Watch special. Again, where we spin a wheel of different movies from Found TV. We let it decide on which one we review. If you want to check out Found TV, we've got a really great offer for you. If you want to get involved with Found TV with no ads, on a annual subscription, if you use the code WEFOUNDATAPE, you'll save $5 on that annual subscription. Highly recommend it, especially now with the pivot for Found TV Plus. There is additional advantages to having Found TV Plus. Specifically, there's bonus features for any other Found TV originals. So the likes of Human Hibachi 3 has a really cool featurette, which is only available for Found TV Plus members. You also get a discount if you order through the Found TV merch store. You get a discount if you're a Found TV Plus member. So definitely consider it. We Found a Tape will give you $5 off that annual subscription.
$5 in this economy is $5.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Well, everyone, that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And remember, be kind and rewind.